Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. We are on Point of Reach. I stole this replay from the thread, replays to cast thread. Hopefully people all know about it, and I do encourage people to post good replays there. That's I think this one was meant for Guile. At least that's what the person who posted said. But I'm going to steal it since Guile is busy. Hopefully everything's cool with Guile. He said he'll be back next week. I am eagerly awaiting his next cast. And if you're one of his fans, you can go for second best, I think, with this channel. You can also check out some of the others. But in this one, we got LiberalSocialst. That's a great name. And I was told the correct pronoun for this player. It's a she. And girls in Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, they're probably a lot more than we realize. I know Cytheria, one of the best sentence players ever, was of course, wow, on this map, MrAesthetic. Wow, rushing a bomber on such a large map. But whatever, that's cool. LiberalSocialst. Oh man, I wonder what they said. Yeah, they're talking about the previous games and how painful they were. And the bomber first for MrAesthetic. This will be definitely a surprise. We'll see how long it takes a bomber to make across this. I believe it's a 20 by 20 map. But I like this from LiberalSocialst, although I think as soon as she begins to do the 5th mass extractor, there will be big power problems. Maybe not big, I think this will be very close, but the power stall is inevitable here. Yep, and that's a big power stall. That's where you probably want to pause all your stuff until you finish the Hydra. You can do 4 mass extractors. You do not want to do 5. So that's a big hole that she's putting herself into. And the bomber's coming to make it even more difficult. Yeah, and I would encourage both girls and, say, ladies and gentlemen to play this game and share it with your friends. What better way to have, you know, a romantic first date than to play this game with somebody you don't know? You can either, you know, go on thermal, tech for 30 minutes, stare at the screen. You can get violent. You can do anything you want. Oh, first blood, MrAesthetic. First kill in the bomber, which surely is a big surprise. That meanwhile, LiberalSocialst has completed the Hydra. No more power stalls. Also, much more aggressive engineers from LiberalSocialst. Not many engineers coming out at all for Aesthetic, because wow, just stuck in his starting position. But we'll see how many kills this bomber gets. Already 2. I think this bomber needs to fly away from the flak. You can deny all these engineers that will walk for so long. It would be really bad. Will he do it? I'm assuming that's a he. Maybe it's the girls playing. Yeah. Yeah, I never got my wife to play this game. That's one of my biggest laments about life. MrAesthetic is going to make some inties. MrAesthetic needs to expand badly. And Affleck BP was the player who posted this replay. And I have all kinds of confidence in that player's opinions about politics, Supreme Commander, sentence clutch. That wasn't nice. But LiberalSocialst, even though there was a massive power stall, is way ahead on eco, way ahead. Things are going to have to happen here, like drops from MrAesthetic to make this even. Otherwise, I don't see this game really being very competitive. Yeah. This would be a great place to drop if you're MrAesthetic. This is the way this map is positioned. It's really dropper's paradise, where very difficult to hold on to any of the islands. It's also, well, if it's anybody's paradise, it's a floating arty paradise, as we saw in the best of 15. And there will be a new best of 15 in case people haven't heard. The players, they're still being decided. Hopefully there will be enough casters to cast all the different games, and you should look for playlists on the front page of this channel for that tourney. This time it'll just be for 50 USD instead of 100, because I think that's kind of a lot. It was alright for Zoc and Blackheart, since I think that's a historic best of 15. And interesting gesture from LiberalSocialst, anticipating engineer. I think that needs to go to work, because the longer it doesn't, it's going to be found out and it's going to be shot. So very expensive unit that is not going to do anything. Very unfortunate, although the bomber for MrAesthetic also destroyed. I'm going to slow it down now. You can see with transports, MrAesthetic, I think, has very much evened out the game. +4 there. Yeah, this is successful grab. A big contrast with this game versus the games between Blackheart and Zoc. At this moment, this map already had hundreds of units with those two players. Big naval plans for MrAesthetic. And this starting island, which is like different ways of looking at the map of Italy. It's backwards, upside down. Okay, let's see. This bomber is waiting. It looks like this island is going to belong, and I think map control, it will belong to MrAesthetic. Although the ACU for LiberalSocialst making a long trek. Let's see if she's able to grab this. And looks like it, yeah, thought better of dropping on this position. It's going to take the transport on the other island where a bomber is waiting. I think this could be bad for that transport. We'll run into a pack of NTs. And yeah, MrAesthetic is paying attention. This is where these NTs should be covering the transport. This transport needs to just drop as soon as possible. It looks like it will do it, but of course there's already a base being built by MrAesthetic, who is running away with the eco here. Both players massive Tech 1 naval spams. I don't know if I agree given these ecos with so many factories. I think it's better to just assist with engineers on a factory, especially for build capacity. Naval factories costs more than some of the others. You can see, let's see what MrAesthetic is seeing. If MrAesthetic can grab this island, which will actually be kind of difficult because it didn't drop right there, the ACU for LiberalSocialst to grab it. Also, power problems is not good, ever. You need to be solved. And looks like quite a few engineers on power. Probably want to pause that air factory for a little while. But what you can see in terms of Tech 1 land factories, it's 300 for naval. It's 210 for air and 240 for land. So this air factory, in terms of mass, if you look at the cost of build capacity per mass, it's pretty much the same as a Tech 1 engineer, and it's as efficient as it gets. This right here is much more expensive if you just want to make engineers, which you can also see, of course, in terms of health, a little more for a naval factory. And early on, you probably don't want 5. You'd rather make a few frigates instead, where you would put a couple engineers on assist, maybe one naval factory on assist and the other 2 just producing Tech 1. And looks like we're gonna see LiberalSocialst take this. Yeah, reclaiming enemy factories, that's always good. And Tech 2 Navy from LiberalSocialst. The fact that this is Cybern on Cybern, you can see that this is a ladder game. They did not choose to play this map. Would not have chosen Cybern, and this is a very important air fight. Big numbers for LiberalSocialst, so we'll take it. The stealth boat, not the best unit to make first. It can't shoot. It has anti-torpedo, has stealth, but it's surviving on 15 health. Air domination from LiberalSocialst. I would love to see Tech to Air from LiberalSocialst. I think with Tech to Air, she could dominate here until there's Tech to Land or cruisers. Whoever gets Tech to Air on this map first is in a big advantage. But look at all these air factories. And looks like Tech to Navy is started by MrAesthetic. However, oh yeah, the destroyer's out. I think this is very timely. You can see correct choice from MrAesthetic, targeting the engineers. And after that initial bit of madness, huge power stall, as well as very slow expansion, these players are beginning to play a little better. LiberalSocialst making anti-air turrets. Really got to get some build capacity, got to get factories, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And she is in a big mass stall, which makes this ACU build very slow. So when you're in a mass stall, you have the different constructors all over the map compete for the limited resources. So it becomes a game of ratios of build capacities, and this ACU is just a stock ACU. It's got a build capacity at 10. This right here has a 40 plus another. This is another 25 plus all these other things. It'll be very difficult to actually build anything with the ACU. That's one of the reasons when you're running your economy, you do not want to be in these big mass stalls. As we're seeing submarines, this is great. I love to see either with Aeon or especially Cybern Tech 2 submarines. They're very fast. They're very quick to build. Their DPS is actually high enough that they can shut down a frigates. Tech 1 subs just have such a low DPS. And another great thing about them, if you get a couple of them together, their torpedo defense is so good that, ooh, this is nice. Wagner's together with a destroyer and stealth. But you see, no more power problems. See how well the Wagner's doing. Just Tech 1, but a lot of Tech 2 land factories not producing anything for MrAesthetic, who is really running away. However, this force is not doing anything. A very disappointing force out in the corner of the map. See how many kills this destroyer gets. The Wagners. This is where this assault should be combined with a drop of engineers and a big air battle that LiberalSocialst. She continues to dominate air, and if you want to make air prey, you got to go Tech to air. Torpedo bombers, Corsairs, gunships, Tech 2 drops, all kinds of stuff like that is just a beautiful thing. As we're seeing a big Tech 1 submarine force moving in, this could be a problem because that's a cruiser coming out and nothing out of the Tech 1 factories. And with that number, you can actually have a significant DPS and cause a significant amount of damage on your naval production, which will be very bad. And this is where we saw it. This is a big submarine force actually took out the destroyer. No, the destroyer ran away. Yeah, this is how you counter submarines. You go on land, a Cybern. There's another destroyer in the middle. It's going to be shutting down naval production. A lot of reclaim possibilities in the middle, as the LiberalSocialst is going to make a long trek through the water. And not enough aggression. This is where MrAesthetic needs to move in right here and destroy. And if LiberalSocialst realizes what's happening, which she isn't, she needs to make a whole bunch of torpedo launchers. That's the only way for her to save the naval production. As we're seeing a cruiser together with a destroyer. This destroyer is precious, given the large amount of submarines being used by MrAesthetic. I really like, oh yeah, Tech 2 air. Thank you. Oh, I really like when people listen to me. And now we're going to see an assault. 4 micro from LiberalSocialst, but should be a victory. Nonetheless, the destroyer is gone, which means this cruiser has no protection. Cruisers versus submarines is not a good proposition. Minute 21. Very timely destroyer. Destroyer together with torpedo bombers. And a lost opportunity for MrAesthetic. LiberalSocialst will hold on to her naval production. But this force right here is very scary. This is where you see three Tech 2 submarines is kind of a magic number. That's a lot of torpedo defense. I believe 3 of them can't take on a destroyer, unless of course somebody interferes with torpedo launchers, torpedo bombers. As the torpedo bombers moving in, of course these are stealth, so I think only Tech 1 subs are going to be attacked. The Tech 2 subs should be able to defend or not be detected. This is where you either need direct visual, as we're going to see more air fight, perhaps. Tech 3 land. Oh wow, brick drops. MrAesthetic planning some really bad things. but map control is quite even. And I do think that MrAesthetic missed out on a big opportunity. I'll slow it down. To kill LiberalSocialst. With this many submarines, could have easily moved in. I think it would have been very big problem. But with brick drops, big investment in this Tech 3 land. I can't really believe that he actually made that choice. But this is a major assault. And one thing that's happened with all these planes, they're out of fuel. They can't catch up. Oh, such timely Tech 2 flak. Oh, that sucks. Look at all those gestures. Oh, but the Tech 2 flak is primaried. Oh, that's not a Tech 2 flag. The Tech 2 flag died. We're going to see an air fight. You need to get another Tech 2 flag ASAP if you're a liberal socialist. An air fight, Tech 2 transport. Yeah, the gunships are running away. But if they run, even though these Tech 1 inties are out of fuel, they're actually quite effective against gunships. If you just fly gunships into them, they will do damage. A major piece of scouting from LiberalSocialst. She should see the bricks, which should tell her that bricks are coming. And they're not going to come on their feet. They're going to come on transports. The only reason that Aesthetic's probably not dropping him, because he is not able to get air control. LiberalSocialst now at 118 production. MrAesthetic, bit of upgrading it seems. 4,000 reclaim, 162 mass. Let's see, LiberalSocialst. Nearly identical reclaim in mass. As we're going to see 2 destroyers versus 4. However, LiberalSocialst probably unable to see those. You need direct, or you need Tech 3 sonar, or you need Omni. What is this upgrade? I think that's a resource allocation. Interesting placement on these submarines. They're more like scouts. As we just saw another air fight, a critical air fight. And it looks like finally MrAesthetic has one air, which means that bricks are going to be coming. Here's one brick drop that I would not have put a brick into that transport. And yeah, that's a very sad end. And here we saw, I think, where are those destroyers? Where do they go? They're right here. They're not doing their job. Lots of T1 PDs. You just want to walk around. There's no reason to kill them. These Wagners, no, don't do it. Yeah, they're going to die. A lot of reclaim in the middle. Nobody wants. Whole bunch of Corsairs. And I think this is where torpedo bombers would have really helped. This is a lot of DPS 5 submarines, and this is where LiberalSocialst will finally see. The problem for LiberalSocialst, she hasn't been really able to see how much Navy there has been because of all the stealth subs. But now a lot of it is directly at the naval production, which will mean that LiberalSocialst needs to get the destroyers back. These destroyers need to come back and play defense, but it does not look good. These destroyers are busy taking... Oh, it looks like these PDs were taken out. It looks quite good for LiberalSocialst unless you look at this. That's a huge problem. Take 3 air. Yeah, torpedo bombers are coming out. A Spider is planned. And here, nothing's being produced. I think given that MrAesthetic, will there be another air fight, is about to shut down the naval production, the easy thing to do would be to win Navy. However, who's going to win this air fight? Very even numbers. Some Corsairs in there as well. They don't have a big advantage on DPS over Tech 1, but they do have a lot more health, so they can tank quite a bit of damage. Torpedo bombers going to work, and the Tech 2 naval factory is dead. This is going to be a lot of reclaim, a lot of dead Tech 2. And a successful brick drop. These bricks are not going to stop. I think these bricks are going to take over that entire island. We'd love to see a follow-up with some engineers. Here we see multiple destroyers. Yep, and LiberalSocialst has got engineers. And one thing that's disappointing in this game is the amount of reclaim from both players. They really aren't attacking the wrecks, and the naval battles and ocean battles, these spread out. It's much more valuable to actually grab the reclaim than to capture the mass extractors. Check out all that Air Force. I'd love to stick a Tech 2 flak right there, but of course no. Okay, these torpedo bombers are suicidal. I don't understand this. It's only 200. Oh no. What are they attacking? Well, they're dead now, so it doesn't matter. Tech 3 air. And gunship on gunship battles, which it looks like numbers for MrAesthetic. Brick. A couple Corsairs are really good for defense. 26 skills on a brick. The other brick with 15. And now the Navy, there are going to be big problems in Navy for LiberalSocialst, as we're seeing destroyers, finally destroyers. And they're shooting while LiberalSocialst is retreating, and of course Siren do not shoot backwards, which is a big problem. More torpedo bombers. We are the Tech 3 air stage, and I think who's got more SF? It's not clear, but if MrAesthetic wins air battle, that would open up the door to start doing brick drops on these. These bricks are standing by, and they need to finish their job over here. It looks like a brick died here to Corsairs. This brick, I guess it. No, you probably don't want to put it in the water. It'll take too long. As we see an air fight, and I do think that MrAesthetic is about to win air, which is a big that's a big problem. A brick. Yeah, this island's going to be taken. I'd love to see some engineers on transports. I like the way he's placed these up on the hill. It's one thing to always consider, where you put your units so you can easily find them. You can think about this. If you're an artist, you want to have your palette, you want to put it, you want to organize it the way you want it organized. There are some rules, but you do have some freedom once you know those rules. An NG drop, excellent. The reclaim numbers, 4,700. 17,000, thank you, LiberalSocialst. I imagine this from here. And she really needs a lot more build capacity, as the spider has been completed. Yep, it paid for it with reclaim, basically. Has a bunch of gestures, suicidal gestures. MrAesthetic has had much more mass production this entire game, but in terms of reclaim, a big advantage as multiple bricks are going to do damage. 16 kills. Yeah, I really like MrAesthetic's plan here. You gotta use the bricks. But yeah, these gestures probably don't deserve to be flying over so much flak. And how about all this ASF? The thing about the spider, oh, look where it's going, is that it does have stealth. And let's see if these submarines can do something about it. So unless you have Tech 3 spy planes and at Tech 3 stage, you do have Tech 3 spy planes. They need to be all over the map, looking for things that are dangerous. But I'm not sure if MrAesthetic ever saw that spider. Doesn't look like these submarines are doing anything. Perhaps they should put some pressure. And a brick drop in this area would be nice. This is an Omni, completely unprotected. You can kill it with a 1 Tech 1 bomber, and that costs about 2,000 mass. Look at this, these bricks. That's called a massacre. Oh, that's not nice. Yeah, my experience of playing video games with, against girls, something like fighting games and those slot machines, and I was always told to let them win. But I think that's stupid. I never let them win. Yeah, that brick is dead. This brick's hiding. But yeah, you can see in terms of ecos, MrAesthetic, huge economy. I don't think he needs that many bricks. They're kind of more for style. He can just spam air, make strat bombers, snipe the power, snipe all this power, probably even snipe the ACU. As we're gonna see a naval confrontation. Here we're gonna see the power of the Tech 2 subs. This time there are no torpedo bombers to save the day. total air domination. This is where the engineers need to spam torpedo launchers. Those are actually quite effective against Tech 2 subs, but yeah. This is where you see the numbers. No chance. Spider is about halfway across the map. The bricks, getting lots of veterancy. And what is this? This is a lot of gunships. A lot of veterancy potential for that cruiser. I guess you could say it's nice that that cruiser isn't Seraphim. None of those would have made it. A whole bunch of strats. 2 strats coming in. The front part of Liberal Socialist base is dead from naval bombardment. Liberal Socialist needs Tech 3 AA and needs good shields. As yeah, this navy needs to get around and start attacking. And the income for Liberal Socialist is, yeah, I don't know where it, I guess she did upgrade a bunch in her base. This is Tech 3, 2 Tech 3s. I guess that's kind of keeping her afloat. But the fact that there is no Tech 3 AA is very disappointing. And, I don't know if she has any hope of controlling any of these islands. This island's a complete loss. Somebody just needs to drop engineers. And if you're MrAesthetic, you either gotta finish it now with your navy, or you gotta build up. You gotta do something with your economy, which means you gotta drop engineers all over the map, grab all the available reclaim, get a huge economy, probably get the bug. The bug would end this very quick. I think a bunch of strat bombers would end it real quick, and even just the navy that MrAesthetic has, if he puts it in the right position together with a few strats, this game is over. You wouldn't be able to hide if you're a Liberal Socialist. And now the Spider is oh, I didn't see that MrAesthetic ACU. Okay, never mind, change of plans. I want to slow it down. I want to see from MrAesthetic's point of view. Oh wow, whoops, he tried to run. Taste it. Nice. The little oh great. Taste the Spider. So if you see a MrAesthetic in chat, you can ask him what a spider tastes like, but you can imagine it's not a good taste in your mouth when you're doing this to somebody and then you lose. Yeah, hopefully people enjoy this one.